One of the really neat things about our testing framework is that it integrates with the conversations you've already had. So I can find a point in a conversation that I think had a slightly weird response, and then I can use that to create a test from it. So here, for example, someone has been talking to our in-app support agent and said, I would like to upload documents and have myself read them, but not me do it. And then the agent has said, you can have your documents read out without using your own voice. But it hasn't really been clear how you can clone your voice and then use it for the text-to-speech. So I'm going to create a test from this point in the conversation. This phrase from the user would never happen if an LLM was simulating the conversation. An LLM would never create an output that is this unclear. However, users, real people, do that all the time. And so our testing framework kind of comes from the belief that there are some things you will only catch in production, unfortunately. Then here, it will already load the entire context of the conversation, including the tool calls that have happened, the contextual updates, and everything that was spoken. And then I can describe the expected results of the conversation so that I can create a test and make sure it never happens again. So I've created a test that says that the agent should mention that ElevenLabs offers voice cloning if the user wants to use their own voice to read stuff out. We highly encourage you over time to evaluate the transcripts that you have and to look through them and see if there are any points where your agent should have responded differently. And so now I've created the test, I can run it against the agent, and in a couple of seconds we'll get back a response whether the test is passed or not. So the test is still failed because we haven't updated the agent yet. So we're going to have to go over to the agent's configuration and update the system prompt and the information the agent has in order to pass this test. Now we're in the agent's configuration, we can add a message that says kind of, if the user requires voice cloning, then you should suggest that the user can do that. And now before we hit save into production, we can run the tests again. We can run all the tests that we have. I've already actually created this test, so it's going to be running twice. It still mentions Studio, but it has mentioned that the agent is able to, the user is able to create their voice clone and then use that inside of Studio. Now over time, you could add more refined success and failure examples to make the test harder or easier to pass. And you could also create a larger suite of tests so that over time you're attaching more and more tests to your agent and making stricter and stricter requirements for updating your agent so that you can be confident that when it gets to production, it's going to match what you expect. So that was a brief overview of how you can attach tests to your agent and iterate with confidence. And we look forward to seeing what you can build with it.